Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nerd Den here today, and for this video I'm going to be reacting to the audio release of Doctor Who Farewell Sarah Jane. And for the lockdown period, the Doctor Who team and production team and the Doctor Who magazine have all kind of combined together and released a lot of bonus material for the watch-alongs that have been happening in the community, and there's been a lot that have happened recently. And tonight is the Stolen Earth and Journey's End watch along, by the way. It's like a double marathon, so I'm really excited for that, really pumped. It's just like all you need to do to join along is literally click start at 7 PM on iPlayer, Netflix, or however you watch Doctor Who, and yeah, just come on Twitter if you got it and just look at all the tweets that everyone's sending out, including the actors and actresses from the show. But today, yeah, anyway, getting back on the topic, we're going to be reacting to this little audio release because the actress who played Sarah Jane Smith unfortunately passed away back in 2011. That meant only half of her final series of the Sarah Jane Adventures, that was a spin-off to Doctor Who, was aired. So she never really got a goodbye. However, this final audio release has been written by Russell T Davies himself, and will provide closure for the character. So, yeah, it's going to be an emotional. Well, let's get into the video. Here we go. Farewell, Sarah Jane. There you go. Written by Russell T Davies. Let's see if I can turn the volume up, he goes.
It was a lovely service, and everyone came. Luke, Clyde and Rani looked around the room. So many people. It was a bright, cold spring day, sunlight shining through the tall windows of the reception room.
So this is Sarah Jane's funeral.
And the guests sat on chairs, and on the floor, and in the corridor, and outside on the lawn. All smiling, all sad, all gathered to remember Sarah Jane. Luke said hello to the soldiers from UNIT, and the Brigadier's daughter gave him the biggest hug. Clyde chatted with
Kate
the
Lethbridge
couple
Stewart
from Australia, Tegan and Nissa. And then Ben and Polly, who'd come from India. Then Ian and Barbara from Cambridge. And then Martha and Mickey with their son August.
Oh, Martha and Mickey have had a child.
So did Dr. Holloway, and Liz Shaw, and someone called Victoria, and Skye manifested briefly in her human form. Captain Jack stood at a distance, and saluted, and then turned away. Maria and her dad smiled down from a video screen. They'd missed their plane, too busy chasing a bandrel through Seattle. But they laughed and joked with everyone. And then Maria cried, and her father hugged her. But Rani stood back. She was polite and smiling. She watched everyone and everything, but Rani didn't say much at all. Once the wonderful speeches and glorious songs were done, everyone broke up into little groups. Tall, handsome waiters gave out drinks and sandwiches. The guests told stories and swapped tales. There was laughter and tears. But really, a sense of joy, huge joy, in remembering a life well lived and well loved. There was also a quick little 10 minutes where the tall, handsome waiters turned out to be jackals of the backwards clock, servants of the trickster, who materialized in a blaze of dark light with a plan to swap planet Earth with a vile copy from the septic dimension. But all the guests joined forces to shrink the trickster to the size of a doll and lock him in a treasure chest at the bottom of the Atlantic for the next 1,000 years.
Wow, that was a quick change of beat there.
But time passed, and people had to go. They all swapped numbers, and promised to meet up every year. They'd call themselves the Family Smith.
Family Smith,
and
wow.
Then Luke, Clyde and Rani stood by the door to say goodbye to everyone as they left. First of all, Jo Jones came up to them and said,
"Well, my darlings, I'm sorry, but I really do have to run."
Oh, brilliant.
Wasn't it wonderful? Oh gosh, and I'm really sorry about breaking that vase.
I love it.
You know,
I love it.
I loved her so much. She really was.
Oh my god, they brought the original actress back who played Jo Grant.
Special
Wow.
girl.
Absolutely love
I've
Katie.
been thinking, I know you're all waiting for the doctor to turn up, but come on, he couldn't, could he? I mean, he's got two hearts. Imagine them both breaking. I don't think he could bear it. is saving some.
I absolutely love this. Russell, man. Oh my god, you're a genius.
Well, that's it. Now I truly have to go. Oh, where's Rio de Janeiro? No, not the city. My granddaughter.
I remember that.
If I can't find my glasses, oh gosh, I probably can't find the city either. Anyway, this really has to be goodbye. And remember, I love you all so much. I really do. Take care, my darlings. Mwah.
And off she went. Geeta and Haresh had missed all the business with the trickster because she'd brought sausage rolls for the buffet, but she'd lost the plate and went to the kitchens to cause a right old fuss, demanding it back.
Yeah, that sounds like Rita.
But now Geeta came up to them and said,
What a lovely day.
Oh, that's Geeta. Oh my god.
I've done half of it. She was a funny woman. I used to get all tense because, well, I thought Haresh fancied her. But I tell you what about Sarah Jane. She was your best friend. You three. And you were kids back then. You should have been going out, having parties and going into town and hanging around the parks and things. But you stayed. All the time. With her.
Yeah, they never found out about the whole alien thing.
That says something about Sarah Jane Smith. It says that she was a remarkable,
She certainly was.
and the street's very quiet without her. Sorry. Bye.
Geeta left. And then Dorothy McShane gave them all a big hug and said,
I just wanted to say,
Oh,
Some of the
yes,
doctors-
Ace.
a long time ago now, we were trapped on this prison planet run by these giant mechanical prawns. And we sat in the dark, and the doctor went all quiet and full of memories, like he sometimes did. And he said, I miss her. Out of all the people in this whole wide universe, I miss Sarah Jane. And then
That sounds
years
about right,
later,
to be
I
fair.
met her. We had that adventure with the Diamond Wolf clan. And the doctor was right. Again. Because I miss her. I will miss Sarah Jane for the rest of my life.
and Dorothy said goodbye, taking K9 with her, and everyone made their farewells.
Good old
And it
K9.
was just Luke, Clyde, and Rani, the old gang. And they talked about Sarah Jane, and Clyde said,
Nah, she was alright.
Oh, brilliant.
and they laughed. But then he said,
I could have been nothing. You know, just one of those boys, bad at school, full of terrible jokes, too cheeky for his own good.
This is well
Just-
produced. Oh my god.
Scribbling silly cartoons, but it's like Sarah Jane looked through the crowd and she saw me. You know? She saw what I could be. I wish I told her how much I loved her, because I did. I loved her with my whole heart. How lucky were we to have found her, eh? She was the best. The absolute best.
Certainly was.
Then Luke drove them back to Bannerman Road, and they talked about the terrible day they'd heard the news. Luke and Clyde both agreed. They'd all been out of the country at the time. Luke with UNIT in Geneva, Clyde as a guest of honour at the New York Comic Con, Rani at the North Pole reporting on Project Refreeze. So it felt like Sarah Jane had waited until they were out of sight to save them any pain. That's what Luke and Clyde said. But Rani sat in the back, still not saying much at all. They arrived on Bannerman Road and went into number 13, remembering so many things that had happened in that house. So many amazing days, so much terror, and so many laughs. And then they went upstairs to say goodbye to Mr. Smith.
Oh,
The attic
Mr.
was the
Smith,
same as
what
ever,
an absolute legend.
perhaps just a little dust beginning to settle. They called for Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith's voice was as calm and as formal as ever, though even a supercomputer couldn't hide the sadness behind the words. Sarah Jane had left instructions. She had said that Bannerman Road should close down. Mr. Smith should be folded away in secret, and the house left to grow dark, waiting. That's what Sarah Jane had said. Waiting for the next one, waiting for its new owner, waiting for the stories to begin all over again. And then, when all was said and done, they simply had to go. Luke had equations to solve, Clyde had meetings about his Silver Bullet movie, and Rani was due to publish a scoop which would bring down the government. But they'd see each other on Christmas Day, like they always did. The best of friends forever. And then Luke said,
I was so lucky. Because I had the best mother in the entire...
Oh my god, I just noticed the
That
photo
is
behind
a
him.
fact. She showed me the whole wide world. And I don't mean all the monsters and invasion.
And I like the Sideman hat as well.
Vegetables. I mean the real world. She's the one who told me that Sanjay was looking at me in that way. And she's the one who told me to go and talk to him.
Oh, they finally confirmed it.
We've been married for 5 years.
Nice.
That's the greatest gift she ever gave me. I may have been created by the Bane, but Mum, she gave me life.
The other two smiled, and Luke hugged Clyde, and then Rani, and the boys headed off. Rani looked around. She tidied a few stray books. She turned off one light, then another. Then she put Mr. Smith into his close-down sequence. And as the timer ticked away, before Mr. Smith folded himself into the dark, Rani stood in the doorway. And she thought. And then Rani said,
You know what I think?
Brilliant.
I think it's not over. Because I don't think she's dead. I really don't. That's not just me being mad. Because I honestly think, in my heart and soul, that he came back for her. Right at the end, the doctor came back for his Sarah Jane.
I hope so.
He said, should we go? Out into the stars. One last trip. And she said, oh yes, please. And I think they're out there now. Sarah Jane and the Doctor in the TARDIS, travelling through space and time forever in a story that never ends. That's what I think. What about you?
Oh no, that too. Oh.
Yes, Rani. I think so too.
Goodbye, Mr. Smith.
Then Rani closed the door and walked downstairs, went outside, locked the front door, and walked away. But it's still there. The house on Bannerman Road. Just waiting.
That legendary house. Wow. That was an amazing audio release and a well-made closure for Elizabeth Sladen's character. So there we go. That was an absolutely amazing audio release from the Doctor Who and Sarah Jane Adventures team. It was absolutely perfect, and you know, it was a lovely tribute to an amazing actress and an amazing character in the Doctor Who universe. I know it was 9 years ago today that unfortunately Elizabeth Sladen passed away, but her legacy will always live on. and she will be remembered as one of the greatest and most memorable companions forever in the Doctor Who show. And talking from experience, the Sarah Jane Adventures really changed my life. It was such a unique companion show to Doctor Who, and I'd even argue in some places it was better. Like the friendship, you could tell between each character, it was unique. It was very dynamic. It was just perfect, and that's what makes a show great. And the Sarah Jane Adventures excelled in that, and I'll always be grateful for those memories. So yeah, thank you to Russell, Elizabeth, and the rest of the gang. And I wish you all the best for the future. Anyway, I'll see you all next time. There will be a watch along later on. I won't be streaming it, but if you follow me on Twitter, I'll probably do some tweets alongside it, as quite a few of the Doctor Who cast coming on. So yeah, see you all later. Peace.